Hello everyone, welcome in this video. And today at Nalondo Butta Medical Foundation, we are mainly focusing at the challenges faced by children having cerebral palsy. And these children or people with cerebral palsy, they tend to face very many challenges which range from physical, developmental challenges, and social challenges. And hence, all these challenges impact negatively on the life of patients having cerebral palsy. And therefore, we as health workers, you as community members and family members need to work hand in hand for us to empower children suffering from cerebral palsy. And therefore, the challenges faced by children with cerebral palsy include the following. Number one, stigma. Most people, including parents, tend to desocialize themselves and their children from patients having cerebral palsy because they think, or they have a myth, that they can get cerebral palsy from the child, which is not true. And two, in Africa, giving birth to a child having cerebral palsy is looked to as a curse from God. And hence, other people in the community tend to isolate themselves from socializing from this child having cerebral palsy. We therefore need to work hard to see that we empower people with knowledge concerning cerebral palsy. The second challenge is immobility and movement disability, which makes the children vulnerable. Because of the nature of the disease, these children having cerebral palsy are unable to control their movements, and hence will need other people, for example family members or health workers or community members, to help them in their movements, either by supporting them by the shoulder or carrying them from place to place. Another option they can use can be assisted devices. For example, walking chairs, walking tables, and wheelchairs to help those who are able to wheel themselves, or those ones who are unable, the family members can push them on their wheels. Challenge number 3 includes poor coordination and movement. Patients experiencing cerebral palsy most times are unable to control their posture or their balance because of the effect of the disease on their voluntary muscles. For example, the wings, the limbs may be weak, or the muscles and the joints may be weaker to support their bodies, especially in dyskinetic and cerebral palsy, or in hypotonic cerebral palsy. 2, people may lack balance, and hence they cannot coordinate their bodies, and hence making them disabled, especially in ataxic cerebral palsy. Number 4, people with cerebral palsy tend to get difficulty in feeding and swallowing. Like we talked of in dyskinetic cerebral palsy, some patients tend to have involuntary muscle movements, which might be jerks or breathing or sudden movements of any body muscles. For example, the jaws, the limbs, and the lower limbs. For example, and if this affects the jaws, these patients may find it hard to chew food and to swallow, and hence avoidance. And in the end, you'll find these children being malnourished because of difficulty in eating. And therefore, we need to do much to support these students having cerebral palsy. 5, seizures. Children having cerebral palsy are sometimes associated with having epilepsy or seizures. Because why? Remember the major cause of cerebral palsy is damage to the brain. And hence, if the brain is damaged due to short of oxygen or short of blood supply, this can be the causative factor to seizures or epilepsy. And hence, children having cerebral palsy need antiepileptics in order to control the seizures, especially those who present with the seizure symptoms. Those who don't present with seizure symptoms do not need the antiepileptic medication. 4 and 6, muscle control. Due to the nature of the disease, some individuals are unable to control their muscles. For example, unable to carry a cup to feed, unable to walk, unable to stand, and hence need social therapy, whereby the relatives will always carry the child from bed to the chair, from the chair to the latrine, from the toilet habits back to home, which makes it a burden to those caring for them. Number 7 is communication difficulties, which leads to frustration and social isolation. This is mainly due to, because of lack of control of muscles, sometimes individuals who experience this kinetic cerebral palsy are unable to articulate out words correctly, and hence this affects them in communicating with others. And 2, next is learning disability. Individuals with cerebral palsy tend to have poor developmental milestones, and hence learning how to speak is a challenge, and also communicating out to others in speech is a challenge due to the cognitive impairment associated with their brain development. And therefore, this makes most of them disabled, and other people tend to isolate them because they're unable to interact with others freely. So, the above mentioned are the few challenges faced by children having cerebral palsy. And therefore, we as health workers at Nalondo Butta Medical Foundation, we are looking forward to making the world a better place for everyone through giving a helping hand to those children who are having cerebral palsy. We therefore request you to support us in this aim. Thank you, and see you in our next video when we are discussing about the possible solutions to the challenges faced by children having cerebral palsy. Thank you.